believe in capitalism to a certain degree. I'm a moderate. I'm a person in the middle. My personal life, I'm a conservative. So if you look at Obama's personal life, he's conservative. I don't go out and talk to a lot of people and all that kind of stuff. I'm about my family. I'm a live my own world.
Right.
I also believe in him socially though. Like, so if this man over there, he's gay, right? Hey man, look, you've been gay for 45 years. You've been with this person for 45 years. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I personally, if you're going to fight for the right, you have the right. You see what I'm saying? When it becomes a point where I'm seeing dudes kissing on billboards. Every TV program, I'm protecting my son's eyes from looking at these guys, flirting with each other and stuff. That is when I believe that, listen, man, we got to have some type of deal. We got to come up with a deal, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
It's fair enough. It's fair enough.
No, you got to look at, all right, so this is when you go into areas, look at, just put yourself in their shoes. So if I was living in this neighborhood, where would I work? They're doing that on purpose. It's a systematic agenda where they will, like right here in Columbus, all the jobs, the entry-level jobs, are out here in Worthington and Westerville.
Remove race. I know it's applicable, and I know in reality you shouldn't remove race, but just for the conversation. Remove race. Remove all our political opinions on the stuff. And what I'm saying to you is, at the end of the day, green economic stuff, it doesn't care about all that stuff as much as politicians say it does. Money is going to go where it's safe. Money is going to go where there's opportunity, and money is going to go where there's very little tax.
No. You might want to do some research on that. It's called called predatory economics, man. They can, for instance, Longstreet, for an example, was a thriving African American community because it was a gateway. And as soon as they realized that it was thriving, what they did is they did use eminent domain. They sanctioned that area off. And not only did they build a highway, they made sure that there was no ramps that was coming that would let you on and off on that particular street, so that if there's no ramps coming off, there's no traffic. If there's no traffic, then there's no business. If there's no business, then businesses fail, and it's hard. That's why you got a whole bunch of vacant buildings over there, because there ain't no point in starting nothing. There's no traffic flowing.
I'm not denying any of that. I'm not denying any of that. I'm not denying that was racism. I'm not denying any of that. What I'm telling you is the reason that a lot of these cities are not doing well economically is because there are not jobs that pay well, that can pay to support a family. And I'm saying to you, and this is where the left gets it wrong, and the Democrat vote, especially the black vote, keeps eating it up. This is my opinion. That's all it is. The reason that there aren't jobs there is because those cities are run by people who tax everything that moves, who make it incredibly hard to open businesses, and then when they do, they get all kinds of racial lawsuits. You got to remove that kind of thinking. Think to yourself, how do I make this as easy as possible to invest money into these communities? Because at the end of the day, a job is a job, man, and it can change people's lives. It can change opportunities. I would argue, you have to start thinking about politics a lot more like that, and a lot.
Yeah, and that's what the Democrats, even Donald Trump himself, before he ran for office, he got on air and he said, for him, he said, it seems as if the economy and the country does better under a Democrat. That doesn't mean that you can't make money if it's under Republican.
Well, I totally disagree.
You have to look at the facts. You just got to look at the numbers.
I do look at the facts.
8 years ago, we were paying nearly $4 or $5 for gas. That is a huge difference, because what that allows us now is to pay half of what we need to do to get to places we go. Our food is half the price. You see what I'm saying? And more money can flood the market.
I'm just curious. So what I'm hearing you say is, you think that Barack Obama's policies cut the price of gas. Am I hearing this right? They cut the price of gas. Therefore, we, the American people, are paying less for gas. Therefore, we're having more money.
I'm saying clearly, under a Republican, we were paying double for gas.
Right.
But
I just want to be clear. Your opinion is that
Barack
Obama's policies. No, I know.
That's
It's Barack Obama's policies, though, that lowered the gas, though, right? That's what happened.
His administration's yes.
Here's why I don't accept that rundown.
Okay.
And I'm just telling you, here's why. The price of gas, $3 less? Absolutely. Is that sweet for the economy? Absolutely. Here's the reason I reject your thinking on this. Barack Obama is a president that is very, very, very hostile to fossil fuels by way of all of his legislation. But what did happen during his 8 years is the country ended up finding enormous reservoirs of both oil, shale, and natural gas. It was unbelievable. They found more than in the history of mankind under his 8 years. Now, as a result of that, the energy market saturated. Now, does he deserve to reap the benefits of that because he was president? Yes. But his policies, if you look at his policies, they wanted to destroy the fossil fuel. He's a green energy president. You wouldn't deny that. So what I'm saying is you citing gas is not a policy-generated thing.
Yeah, and so that's one thing. That's only one thing. That's one thing.
But what I'm saying,
so another thing, my dollar, for example, my dollar when I went to Brazil, it was 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1. You see what I'm saying? And that's the same way around the world. So our currency compared is stronger now, right? Markets are flooding with investors, right? The infrastructure has been improving.
You're really thinking that the U.S. economy is doing well. That's what you're thinking right now.
No, I'm talking about currently. I believe it's volatile. Yes.
But I mean, do you think in the last 8 years it was doing well? That's really what you think? Honest to God. That's what you think.
I'm saying it's turning. It was doing. What I'm saying is it was improving from where it had came off.
Well, I'm telling you, Rendell. I'm telling you that is not the thinking of most of your fellow Americans, and I would cite the election.
Oh yeah, I know. I agree with that.
And you know why? You know why they think that? Because it wasn't doing better, Rendell. For real people.
Because
for real people in real jobs, it's horrible out here. And leftists continuing to say it's better when it's not better is why they lost the election. I'm just telling you the truth.
Oh yeah, I believe you. I believe that a lot of people, it was hard. It was hard for me. Like I've been living, you know what I'm saying? It was hard. It's been a hard, challenging 8 years. I will say that and I will admit it. But all my goals I was able to accomplish.
Well, that's got everything to do with you because you're a very motivated person.
Exactly. The government is not going to determine whether or not I'm going to succeed or not. And we all got to get that in our...
I like that, Rendell. I like that you said that. But I do think these policies affect a lot of people's jobs. They affect a lot of people's pocketbooks. And that's why it matters to people. And you and I don't agree on Barack Obama's economic prosperity. We're not going to agree on that. But for me... The election had everything to do with stuff like that and nothing to do. People are all I hear all the time, and I'm telling you, in a way, I'm a conservative, so I want liberals to keep on doing this because the more you guys blame stuff on racism and bigotry, the more you're going to lose elections. And this is why I think that's true. Because people are so sick of that. People are so fed.
I know. You know what I'm saying? I believe that a lot of people were making races that are not even racist. You know what I mean? So, for an example, like, let's say I'm a white person, right? I'm not racist. You know, I know people like this. You know what I'm saying? They really don't care if you're black or white. It's a matter of who you are. You know what I mean?
That's the vast majority of people I know.
Well, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people like that. Now, what I'm trying to say is I can say stupid stuff and constantly pump race into that person's face and make that person feel like they're a racist and then make that person actually like, you know what, man, you know what?
They can smell when they're being manipulated. They can smell when they're being called a racist when the person, they know that. And the Democratic Party has been doing that for too long and it just finally wore out. People are just done with that. That's what it was more than anything else. And then I turn on the TV and all I see Democrats doing to explain the election is calling everybody a racist. And I'm like, listen, keep that up and all you're going to do is...
All right, so this is the reason why they said that. It's because if you're still voting for Trump, after he said that a Mexican American would be qualified to hear my case, after he said that, you know, after he said and done all the things that he did, and you were still going to vote for him? Why?
You know what the answer is? It's not like people liked any of that. Rendell, none of the people that voted for Trump liked that, or very few liked it. It's the same reason that you voted for Hillary. You didn't like any of the stuff that woman said. You didn't like any of the stuff that woman did. You were sickened. You were probably sickened by the fact that she stole the election from Bernie and all that stuff she did. But at the end of the day, you did not like Trump more. So you weren't validating the things that she said or did by voting for. So that's exactly what people were doing when they voted for Trump. It's not hard to understand. It's not as though they liked any of those things.
I've been listening to Fox News. Who's that sheriff? Sheriff Clark. You know what I'm talking about? That Sheriff Clark dude.
I know you don't like that dude. I know.
Oh my God, man, that guy couldn't be worse, man. He couldn't be the worst. He is the worst.
I know you don't like that dude, but I like that dude. I like him a lot.
That's what he's playing. He's playing the coon, man. He is the puppet of the world, man. Like that?
I don't agree. You don't like what the guy's saying, but that doesn't make him a puppet.
No. Listen, just because I can tell you all day that Blue Lives Matter. For example, I will tell you with no hate in my heart that Blue Lives Matter. It's not hard for me to do that at all. I can tell you all day, white lives matter, Asian lives matter. It is not offensive to me. But when you come to Black Lives Matter, if that's offensive to you, then I don't know what to say to you.
We still talking about Clark?
Talking about him. He says there's a terrorist group. He's saying there are a whole bunch of despicables and all that kind of stuff. No, this is a group. Whether it turns political or not, it may be hijacked by politicians because they always do stuff like that.
Yeah, they do.
But it don't matter.
It does actually matter.
No, it doesn't matter. No, what matters is the message.
I know what you're trying to say. Rendell. I do, because I know you. But the truth is it matters more than you think, because once you lose your credibility, then people don't listen to the message.
But it doesn't have to be credibility.
Maybe we disagree on that, because I think it does have to be.
It's a statement. It's all it is. It's a statement that is true. Those who reject the statement.
I really hope you don't think that the vast majority of your American citizens reject the notion and care about African American lives. I don't think that that's true. What they might not support is some of the stuff that Black Lives Matter does and do on multiple occasions, but that doesn't mean that they don't sympathize and don't care about the plight of the African American. Those are two separate things.
I disagree.
So you think the vast majority of Americans don't care about African American lives?
No, I think they're insensitive to African American lives, meaning that they just really don't care either way.
I don't think. I mean, you might be right, but I don't think. I'm not willing to say that.
I'm gonna tell you. Let me give you a reason why. Because number one, what gives the statement power is those who fight against it. So whenever there's a movement that says Black lives don't matter, right? Then that actually gives the whole thing its power. The negativity, the rejection, adversary.
Do you think that they're rejecting the notion that Black Lives Matter, or do you think they're rejecting all the other stuff that comes along with that? Because I think the latter. I think the other.
First of all, that's the first thing. It's annoying to hear that. Then you see these guys blocking the highways in California. So that's like, oh man, all of this yelling, all of this complaining. They should be happy.
I never thought that they should be happy, but I do think that they're politicized, and I think the fact that they're politicized affects their credibility. Like for example, like you have credibility with me. When I talk to you, you have a lot of credibility with me because I know you, I know your heart, but I also have done a lot of reading about this movement, and I know they've been hijacked.
This is how bad it is. The media is, right? Fox News, for example, had said that we are committed to deeming this a terrorist group. They will pull any tactic they need. So you know the whole schedule is going to be, their whole dialogue is planting these people as a terrorist group. Then what they will do is they will also send people in to invade a protest. So in Texas, for an example, all they will do is they will pay somebody or send people in there.
Yeah.
They will create a conflict in a protest so that it looks worse, look bad.
Look, I know that happens. That happened with the Trump rallies. That happens on both sides.
But we gotta know what we all gotta know when we looking at TV that we're looking at propaganda.
Well, I agree with that. I agree. You make a good point there. But still, a lot of the leaders and stuff. I mean, are they faking the stuff that they're posting? Are they faking the stuff that a lot of these leaders are saying? Because if they're not, then I can't sign on with that stuff. It's hateful, and I don't want to be a part of it. But that doesn't mean that I don't sympathize with the movement or that I don't care that your kids are scared when they go to school. You see what I mean? You can't correlate the two. You can't, in your mind, think to yourself, just because somebody doesn't want to affiliate with this particular brand, you can't say to yourself, oh, that means that they don't care, because those two statements are not the same thing. Do you understand what I mean? They're different things in my mind.
Yeah, it depends. That's why I always ask you what you mean, or, you know.
The stuff that we do, me and you talking like this is the type of stuff that actually has legs, because then you can't pervert it, the media can't distort it, and people can actually learn from one another. I know why this movement is appealing to you. For the first time ever, some of these things aren't being ignored. Some of these desperate things that need to be looked at are not being looked at. So you're willing to dance with the devil on this. But what I'm saying to you is, this is the wrong star to hitch your wagon to. Why is it the avocation for every time you have an opportunity, pull up a chair, unity, pull up a chair and talk to your fellow American that comes from a different culture. That's gonna yield way better results than all the stuff you see now. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a time for protest, because sometimes power just ignores you, and sometimes you got to get in the streets and do something about it. But this stuff that this organization is doing, man, I just don't want anything to do with that stuff.
First of all, see, the protesters, they want the protest. They want people to protest. Protest means nothing. If you was the president, would you care if someone protested or not? People, it's almost like voting. It gives people the feeling of democracy.
I think you're right. You're probably right about that.
But it's pressure. It's pressure that people listen to. And marching can be a demonstration, but it's what you're going to do after the marching that matters. See, Dr. Martin Luther King couldn't leverage anything with Lyndon Johnson unless he had the Nation of Islam.
You're right about that.
Talking about by any means necessary. So Martin Luther King had to go and say, if you want me to keep these Negroes at bay, then you got to give me something. You see what I'm saying?
I think I'm feeling you on that. That's a good point. But I'll tell you, when I read him, although that's all true, and that's just an amazingly smart man, and that's just all he's doing there is using the same levels of power that everybody else has. So I don't begrudge people doing that. But I'll tell you, he has real power, because all these years later, here's a boy in Pennsylvania who reads his speeches and becomes a different man and thinks about things differently. You know what it was? For me, it was the fact that this dude, he used the Word of God to prick my conscience, to inspire me to be more Christ-like, to have conversations outside of my comfort zones, to empathize with people, to have mercy. See, I'm looking for that movement, Rundell. Maybe you should lead it, because that movement changes the world, and that
I
actually
agree
changes.
with you.
All the ugliness and the divisiveness, all I do at that is I cry. I just think it's a shame that this is going on.
I agree.
Martin
with you,
Luther King is a great man.
I told my wife the movement that's needed, and Martin Luther King understood this. In America, it's not a black or white, us versus them type mentality. It has got to be a movement that includes pretty much everybody.
Exactly. There are people that are doing things wrong right now, and if you want to affect those people, it's not getting angry and dividing. It's pricking their conscience. It's making them feel the shame of that.
People are divided. People are divided. That's the reason why Americans divide people, is because we not, like, I learned that in the military. In the military, we all gravitated towards our likeness, and we was all friends. Like, I was friends with my, but people just gravitate towards their likeness. I mean, they got to speak to the issues that are in the forefront of an African American or a Latino or a Anglo-Saxon. I believe that that's okay.
And I confess to this. I mean, I do this sometimes in our conversation. Sometimes you just make mistakes in the way you say things because you're not as sensitive as you should be to those things. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that the heart is bad just because you misspeak.
All right, look, if we don't talk to each other all the time, right, then we're not gonna be comfortable talking with each other, because we don't know what the words to use and all that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? But the more we talk, the more comfortable you become, because the more you learn what to say and what not to say.
You're right.
People are uncomfortable. Now, I know for a fact Bernie Sanders is down, because he was down there with Dr. Martin Luther King, chained to the woman, protesting the civil rights back before I was even born.
You know he's down.
Oh yeah. He was down. He was my vote. Really, he was earning my vote. Once I seen that, I was for him.
Well, then why weren't you angry when she stole the election from him? Why weren't you angry about that?
Man, the same reason why I'm not angry that Trump won, man. The only reason why I vote is just because I want to feel like I did my civic duty in doing it. Do I believe the votes count? I don't know, man. The technology.
I'm skeptical.
So I believe whoever is supposed to be the king at the time is going to be. Trump, the king, he got attributes and skills I think that I like. It's just I don't like for my Latino.
You don't like his rhetoric. I don't like it.
He scared everybody. He got the country on scared. It's making people uncomfortable, and that might make people great. So if that's his strategy, he might not even know it. He's just doing it. But greatness comes when you're uncomfortable. You start thinking different, man. You start thinking big. You start thinking great.
I know.
He gonna make America great one way or another. He gonna bring the greatness out of you. It's a purge going on. It's either it's a purge going on. And the weak, if you're scared and you all living in fear, you're going to get left behind.
Well, I hope that's not true because I don't want that. I think some of that stuff is just
it's always that way, man. It's not fear mongering. It's look at the wild. Look at the lion. Everybody says, "Oh, the lion is eating the gazelle. It looks so bad." The lion's like, "I gotta eat, man." The gazelle should have been faster. He should have been healthy. He shouldn't have been at the water hole at that time. You see what I'm saying? Call it good or evil if you want. It's the way it is, man.
Hey, listen, Rado, I got to get going here, buddy, out here, but it was great talking to you as always, man.
Most definitely.
All right, see you, man.
Have a good one, peace.
A Brock Lawley production.